I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of people complaining that Jalen Hurts didn't play well enough over the last 2 games. And the thing that I keep coming back to is they won the games. Like, we all understand that the point of the postseason is to win the games, right? Like, Herm Edwards is famous for the rant, "Hello, you play to win the game." Jalen Hurts has continued to do that for you. Now, Jalen Hurts doesn't go out and throw 300 yards every game. He doesn't rack up 3 touchdowns through the air every game. He doesn't need to. You have the best running back in the league. You have the best offensive line in the league. You have a very good tight end. You have arguably the best wide receiving duo in the entire league. You don't need Jalen Hurts to be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Let me ask you a question. How's Justin Herbert doing? What's he doing to prepare for the AFC Championship game next week? Oh, that's right. He's not there. What's Jordan Love doing to prepare for the NFC Championship game next week? Oh, that's right. He's not there. What's Matthew Stafford doing to prepare for the NFC? Oh, he's also not. Missed it. Lamar Jackson had a nice game against Buffalo. Threw for 253 yards through the air. Had 2 touchdowns through the air. You know what else he had? An interception. He's not playing next week. Now, again, we could blame Mark Andrews for that, and I probably would be more apt to blaming Mark Andrews for that. But Lamar Jackson's not playing next week, friends. And it goes on and on and on. I continue to just be flabbergasted by the fact that for years, all Philadelphia fans have talked about is wanting to win. We want to see the team win. You go back to the Donovan McNabb era. It was always Donovan didn't get it done. Or it was Donovan didn't have the weapons. James Thrash isn't good enough. Todd Pinkston isn't good enough. Greg Lewis isn't good enough. All those things are true. They could get to an NFC Championship game, but they couldn't get over the hump. They went out and they got T.O. They got to a Super Bowl. They lost. Donovan puked in the huddle. Carson Wentz had great talent, had this team on an absolute run, blows out his knee against the Rams. Nick Foles ends up picking up the mantle. He picks it up, and he takes you the rest of the way. And you ultimately win your first Super Bowl, and you're feeling great about it. And then the next year, it's like, all right, I guess we have to go back to Carson Wentz. And then it doesn't matter. Why does Carson Wentz's career fall apart? Well, due in large part to the fact, and I always talked about this over on Crossing Broadcast, and this goes back years, and this goes back to like the 610 ESPN days. But I used to say, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you have the physical ability to fit a ball into a tight window in triple coverage, which I thought Carson Wentz was capable of, and he was, that doesn't mean that you should throw that. Because what you're physically capable of doing versus mentally knowing what you should attempt at any given time in a game is where Carson Wentz had a massive disconnect. And it's why he's now a backup. Is Carson Wentz a more physically gifted passer? Does Carson Wentz have a better arm than Jalen Hurts? There's a case to be made that, yeah, he actually might. He might have more physical talent in his arm than Jalen Hurts does. But why is he a backup and Jalen Hurts is a starter? Why did Jalen Hurts replace Carson Wentz? Because Jalen Hurts has it. He has the winning DNA. He doesn't get you 300 yards a game through the air. He doesn't get you 3 touchdowns through the air every game. He gets you wins. And ultimately in this league, the goal is to win. The goal is to get to the Super Bowl and ultimately hoist the Lombardi Trophy. That's the point. It's not to set personal records. It's not to make yourself feel like you're the next Peyton Manning or that Joe Burrow, he should be an MVP candidate. He should be such a great MVP candidate because he rallied his team back to almost make the playoffs this season after leading them to a piss-poor start where they were multiple games under 500 again, and the carriage turned back into a pumpkin. Like, I'm sorry. You can have your stereotypical, this is what we want to be from a pocket passer. This is what we think is going to win in the league. Guess what? Next week in the AFC, one of the best quarterbacks in the league is going to lose and is going to go home. It's probably going to be Josh Allen, but there's a small chance it could be Patrick Mahomes. It'll be Josh Allen. But next week, one of the best quarterbacks in the league is also going to get eliminated in the AFC. And you know what's probably going to be a critical element of who gets eliminated in the AFC next week? Who turns the ball over more? right? Because as soon as you give multiple possessions back to the opposition, if they're able to convert, even if it's a field goal, that's still points that are coming off of your back. That's possessions that you had, that you gave away, and now the opposition goes the other way and picks up points. That could be as much as a 14-point swing. 7 points in your favor to 7 points in their favor is a 14-point swing. Jalen Hurts is not turning over the ball. I need the people who want Jalen Hurts to be this like prototypical pocket passer. I need those people to take a chill pill because he's not that guy. He probably never will be that guy. And based on the fact that they are now 1 win away from going back to their second Super Bowl with this guy under center, like at some point you have to let it go. You do. Or you're just going to drive yourself insane. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts was perfect against the Rams or that he was perfect against the Packers. He wasn't. There are already multiple instances that you can find freeze frames over on Twitter from where Jalen Hurts, even on the safety, missed a receiver going over the middle on a quick, what looked like a quick slant. And had he seen that pass, that's probably a nice chunk yardage pickup. Maybe it doesn't get you the first down, but it certainly gets you out of your own end zone. And he missed that. And ultimately it cost them 2 points. And it gave the Rams some actual momentum to get back the ball. After picking up 2 points, they get the possession back. And then you maybe start to worry, except the Eagles' defense has been opportunistic, continues to force turnovers. And look, you might think that Matthew Stafford plays a much better prototypical pocket passing quarterback role. And there are probably some people out there, and I guarantee you there are some people in this general area who are like, oh, well, Matthew Stafford, he's a real quarterback. That guy knows how to win. Did he win? He didn't. You know what a big reason the Rams ultimately didn't win this game was? Because they had chances. They had multiple opportunities in this game to get things done and get them done the right way. Do you know what happened? The Eagles' defense continued to make plays. That's it. The Eagles' defense was stout. The Eagles' defense forced a fumble. The Eagles' defense got the offense back off of the fumble. They got the Eagles' offense back on a short field. And they set this offense up for success. It's not that hard. If you want a guy who's going to go out and compile stats for you, but doesn't win, there's a guy who plays in Cincinnati who's your cup of tea. You can go switch your fan allegiances, go bow down and pray at the altar of Joe Burrow, watch him go sling the ball around like you remember Brett Favre or Peyton Manning slinging the ball around, and enjoy not making the playoffs or enjoy an early playoff exit. I'll take the guy who just wins. It's not a controversial opinion. You just kind of have to recalibrate your brain. You either want to win or you don't. All the people who complained going into Week 18, Saquon Barkley, he can't go for that rushing record. Everybody's got to be healthy. You got to win, win, win. Winning is the ultimate. You got to win, because if you win, brother, let me tell you something, brother, if you win, you're going to go to the Super Bowl, brother, and that's what it's all about. If that was your goal, Jalen Hurts has you 1 win away from going to the Super Bowl. 1 win away. That's it. So you either want to win or you want it to look pretty. I don't care how ugly it is. I just want the wins. He continues to deliver those to you. It's not that complicated.